All right, welcome to another episode of the Stickbow Country Podcast. We got a heck of a night for you all. I think that's how you Kentucky boys say it, you all tonight. But before we introduce tonight's guest, I want to shout out I want to spend a minute or two just to shout out to Mike Roberts at Sauk Trail. A couple weeks ago, I got to spend a couple days with Mike and UBI guys and just guys that are part of that family, if you will. And man, I'll tell you what, it was a wonderful 2 days, even though it was hotter than blazes. But um, yeah, Mike is just he's just awesome. He builds great bows, and he's just awesome. So I want to shout out to Mike. Shout out to the guys over at A Boyer Broadheads. It was good to see them at Compton's. Good to pick up some more heads from those guys. And of course, Joe at True North Arrows. I got some cresting paint coming from him here probably in a few days. Want to shout out to Luke at Selkirk North Trading Company for what he does for me. And I got to plug my Stickbow Country custom arrows for all you wood arrow shooters. If you're not shooting wood, you should. You should be ashamed of yourself if you're not. So I think that's the intros for tonight. Just a little background. I met tonight's guests are Shane and Jeff Evans, and I met these guys at Compton a couple weeks ago, and like just about everybody in the trad world, we just hit it off like brothers, and I don't know, we're just laughing so yeah, gentlemen, thanks for coming on the Stickbow Country podcast tonight. It's really, really awesome to have you guys on. I feel like we're brighter days are ahead. I think we're going to be sharing a bear camp, I think, down the road. At least I sure hope we are. And maybe we should start off with who's the oldest?
That would be me.
All right, Jeff, why don't you introduce yourself and then we'll throw it over to your brother and he can introduce himself.
Okay. I'm Jeff Evans, 57 years old. Uh, I'm the older brother to Shane. He's my big little.
All right. How many years apart are you guys?
5.
Five. Okay. And what do you do for a living, Jeff?
Well, I started out right out of high school, went in the military, and then after the military, I went to the sheriff's department in Florida and did a 15-year high risk retirement from there. And ever since, I've been running the lawn care business for the last 17 years.
Wow. Okay. All right. How about you? I got a little echo from you, Jeff. Are you getting an echo from me at all?
No,
Okay.
it
All
might
right.
be for the simple reason our phones are so close together.
Are you guys in this? You're not in the same room, are you? Or are you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, Shane, why don't you introduce yourself to this podcast world? Look.
Hold on a second. I dropped my phone.
Oh, all right.
Can you see me now?
Yep.
I had to, hey, Mark, I had to talk him into putting his shirt on before we started.
What's I can't see myself.
Well, I'm glad you had him put a shirt on. That's good. I appreciate that.
Well, hold on. I didn't think about I didn't want to melt your phone down with all the views. He mentioned, you know. Anyway. All right. Can you see me now?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, I'm Shane Evans. I said, I'm born and raised in Kentucky, been here all my life. Pulled a short stint in Texas when I was 12 years old, but that didn't carry on too long. I'm 53, be 53 tomorrow. Born on the 4th of July.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure enough, me and my papa, we were both born on 4th of July. So that was pretty neat growing up.
Wow.
Yeah. And anyway, I was a welder fabricator for 15, 18 years or so, and just kind of got burnt out on that. And I went into maintenance, and I'm an electrician now.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Well, you must be somewhat smart because electricians got to kind of know, right
I
color
I
wires
just
and all
wing
that.
it, you know. I, I get burnt every now and then, but it don't hurt long. Um, you know, fake it till you make it. That's what I do.
Oh, that's good. All right. What time? I got to put down what time we started so, we don't talk forever and really put the listeners to sleep.
Right.
All right. All right. So there you go, America. There's the Evans boys, good old Kentucky boys. Um, and as I said uh, earlier, these guys went, I think both of them on their first ever bear hunt this fall. So I think uh, I think Jeff, you ought to start us off on your hunt, and you can break it down. You can take as long as you want from the bow you were using, the arrows, the broadheads, the barometric pressure, the humidity, you name it. You can cover it. It's all yours. And after you're done, we'll let your brother tell his story.
Well, this starts back when I was like 7 or 8 years old. You want to go that far back?
I I'm thinking maybe we could shorten that up a bit.
Well, with my day job, it's been real rough for me to get away to go to a bear hunt. That's been on my bucket list forever. Uh, so anyway, fast forward, I talked to all my customers and they said, yeah, you need to go. So I've never been on a bear hunt whatsoever. And we finally, go to Ontario and, you know, the guys we shared bear camp with, they were awesome. Uh, I was, everybody I talked to was like, just be patient. Just be patient. Wait for your shot. Well, we got there, I think it was on May 30th,
Friday.
on a Friday. And our hunt didn't start till the 31st. Well, one of the guys that was there before us actually shot a bear. So we got to go out on our first blood spilling adventure. That was that, that was fun. That was so we're out there in this big woods with about 10 of us, and to make a long story short, the bear wasn't dead. It turned around and came back at Mike, and he was like, "Okay, this ain't fun anymore. We're leaving." So uh, our first, like I said, our first day of the hunt was on the 31st. The weather was hot. The fires that were up in the Canada, it was throwing a lot of smoke out. We don't know. I mean, the bears wasn't hitting the baits. It was, kind of rough. You just sitting, early, just not seeing anything. Uh, so you should have started with Shane on his hunt because he shot his bear first, and my story kind of goes in kind of after his.
Oh, wow.
Well, anyway, like he said, it was hot, it was dry, smoky, and I wouldn't have it any other way. As soon as I got to the hunt, the bears shut down. They stopped hitting the baits, wasn't getting pictures, and this was going on for like 4 days. And it's a long time in a tree from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So I sat there night after night, not seeing nothing. And I was lucky enough to have signal on my phone. A lot of guys didn't have signal up there. On the fourth night, I'm just kind of kicked back. I got my bow hanging in a tree limb. I got my reading glasses on, and I'm scrolling Facebook, just not a care in the world. And I looked over my shoulder, and there stands a bear. And then I would start hyperventilating because it looked like a grizzly bear to me. And I'm trying to get my glasses off, put my phone in my pocket, get my bow off the tree. And, the bear was fixing to leave. The bear never hit the bait. He stuck his nose to it and backed up, and he was turning to leave. And while he was doing all that, when I was getting all my crap together, but about the time he turned to leave, I hit anchor and let it fly. And, the arrow looked great. It flew perfect and everything, and it hit. And my first initial thought was, I just nailed this dude, I'm like, yes. And then the bear ran off, and I had a minute to sit there, and I thought, was it too low? It might have been too low. And then, then I started getting depressed. And then I called my wife, and I couldn't hardly talk. I was like, I just shot a bear. I just shot a bear. And anyway, I said, I got to go. I texted my brother. I said, I just shot a bear. I did big ass bear. I kept saying that. And I text Mike, and I said, Mike, I just shot a bear. Big ass bear. And he's like, I'm on my way. And, I met him out at the road, and he's like, what do you think? And I said, well, at first I thought it was a great hit, but the more I thought about it, I think I'm a little low. Let's just come back in the morning. So you know what kind of night that made?
Yeah.
A long night. And anyway, I said, we all got up early, and, all the guys that just volunteered to come with me to help look for my bear was awesome, And anyway, there's 7 or 8 of us. We're going through the woods. Mike has to do the blood trail, and I'm so excited I can't see nothing. I'm cross-eyed, I'm following Mike. Every time he stops, I bump into him, and he turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, what? What'd I do? And he stuck his hand out to give me a handshake, and I was like, oh, are you serious? He seen the bear laying up there, so I ran up there, and it was just felt like one of the greatest things I've ever done. It was amazing.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was. I'm glad my brother was there and all the new friends we made up there. And
yeah,
it was really special. I loved it.
How far did he go?
Less than 100 yards, just guessing. When you're walking slow, one step at a time, and stepping over logs and looking down, you feel like you've went a long way. But when you actually stand there and look back towards the stand, you realize it's not that far.
He died in a trail.
I think that bear died running.
Yeah.
So the hit wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I used the bears don't bleed.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll get one that just sprays everything, but all the experience we had up there back in June, they don't bleed much. A drop here and a drop there. Sometimes you'll find where they stood still for a second, and there'll be a big puddle. But other than that, it's just a drop here and a drop there. But Mike deserves a trophy for Bear Tracker of the Year.
Yeah.
All the tracks he done while we were up there, it was amazing.
Now, you were at Triple J Lodge.
Yes.
And Jason and Nicole LeClaire are the owners. And,
awesome people.
Yeah.
Wonderful people. Yeah.
Now, what stand were you in? Because I was up there last fall.
Mayburn 3.
Okay.
You know where that is?
Well, I killed mine on Mayburn 5.
Mayburn 5. Okay, I think that's where Steve Moore was this year.
Okay.
That's where he witnessed the great Canadian turtle rut.
Yeah, you got to ask him about the turtle rut.
You're going to have to get Steve on horn here and find out about that.
The turtle rut. I love that. I love
The
that.
great Canadian turtle rut.
That's so good.
Oh, it was funny. It was funny.
Oh,
Yeah. But like I said, anyway, it took me 4 nights to get my bear.
yeah.
And, on the 5th day, everybody's gone bear hunting. And I'm just sitting in camp by myself. And Jason LeClaire, he come up to the cabin and knocked on the door. He's like, "What are you doing, eh?" I said, "Nothing, just hanging out." He said, "You want to go fishing?" I was like, "Heck yeah, let's go." He said, "Come on." So we run the lake on the pontoon and caught walleye and just had the best time ever.
Uh, that's
Great people. I
that's
loved it.
that's how they are. And
Yeah.
well, we'll get into your bow company later, but what did you shoot it with? And arrows and broadheads and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I shot it with my skunk pig. That's my hybrid longbow, forward handle. Um, the arrow was the gold tip 400, 225 up front, and I strictly shoot 3-bladed snuffers or woodsmans. That's all I hunt with. I just like that 3-blade broadhead, and I've had good luck with it on deer and the bear too, obviously. But that's what I like.
Well, those are proven heads, and they've taken a lot of critters. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
that never slowed up when it hit the bear. It buried in the ground on the pass through. It was awesome.
yeah, and isn't it amazing how they just like all of a sudden they appear, they're like ghosts.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't hear nothing. Which I have to admit, I did. I let my guard down. I sat there days on after day after day and didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
And the first 2 days, my eyes were peeled. Then
Well,
I just kind of got a little lax.
and
That's when even deer hunting. That's when it
yeah,
happens. They catch you off guard.
we've all been there, we're
Yeah.
all like opening day, we're all like literally, and then by the 12th day of deer hunting and you haven't seen much, you just kind of like, I'm gonna go on Instagram or whatever. But
Right.
no, that's really cool. It's just, yeah, last fall was when I got my first bear, so I could totally relate to your emotions. It's just like you're right. You get the shot, you're like, man, that was money, and then time goes on, and you're like, well, I don't know, maybe, and
Right.
so did you weigh yours at all, Shane? I'm just
I
curious.
did not.
Okay.
No. No. Well, I let it lay all night. It was 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning when we found it, and first thing on my mind was let's get this thing taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I even got any pictures of the bear on my phone. The only pictures I have is what everybody else was taking.
Yeah.
I just save the meat. That's the main thing.
I just had some bear meat, and my wife makes these really good sliders, like Hawaiian rolls with bear meat and cheese, and oh
Yeah.
baby, I mean,
Yeah. It's good stuff.
it
I actually
is.
like it a lot better than I do deer meat.
It's I think it's fantastic, and yeah, no, that's good. How were the bugs on your days in the stand?
They weren't crazy. It wasn't that bad. I, you know, if as long as you got a little breeze, they're not bad.
Yeah.
And I kind of just got lucky enough to be up on a little ridge, and had a breeze. And right, they were worse when I climbed down, and walked out to the road, and stand there on the side of the road waiting on somebody to pick me up. They were awful. I mean, awful. Yes. Sometimes that's the only time I would turn my thermocell on. And I was like, well, I got to go to the road. I'm going to turn my thermocell on.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never used one, but I've only bear hunted twice, and they were both in the fall after I got a buddy that lives in northern Minnesota, and he says usually by end of August-ish on, the mosquitoes are way, way down. So
Yeah.
I've never had to use a thermostat. I kind of like to get to a point where I got to use them because I hear they work quite well.
They do work. I'm still kind of leery. I've still got that in the back of my head. Or is the deer going to smell it? Is it going to spook, deer? Is it going to spook the bear?
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think. I think it's just like anything else. If you got the right wind, you're going to be perfect. You're going to be good.
Now, was your bear a sow or a boar?
It was a dry sow. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's good, man. That's a good startup. So you killed that on day what, 5, 4?
Day 4.
So would that have been
Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay.
Yeah, our hunt started on Saturday, and I shot my bear on Tuesday. First bear I seen, last bear I seen.
Well, that's how it was last fall for me, but it was only my second sit.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, hey, there's a bear. Wow,
You
hey.
got lucky.
Yeah, I did. Well,
or maybe I got lucky. It was nice sitting in the Northwoods.
Yeah. Well,
watching the red squirrels and the different birds that we don't see at home. It was enjoyable.
Well, and the guy I was with, he killed his on his first sit.
Yeah.
So you never know,
You don't.
Well,
Right place, right time.
Yep. Well, that's a good story. All right, Jeffrey, your brother has warmed up this podcast here, so now you're up.
You're in for it. Okay. Well, when we went in to recover Shane's bear, we was walking in from the road, and I asked, well, Shane said, because we run across a pile of bear scat in the trail. And Shane said, well, that wasn't there last night. And we got up to the bait barrel, and it'd been hit. So, okay, good. So we went on trying to blood trail Shane's bear. Well, when we found Shane's bear, he was so excited. He was so happy. Every camp around knew he got a bear. He was hooping and hollering. And I'm glad the bear was dead, because Shane would have given him a concussion, petting on him and just happy, to the point where I had tears in my eyes. I was just so happy for my brother.
Yeah.
So, so we got a ton of pictures, like he said. He didn't get any pictures on his phone because everybody was taking pictures. And so on the way out, or when we got back to camp, I asked Mike, I said, would it be unheard of, since that barrel got hit after Shane shot his bear, for me to move, my saddle over to, Shane's tree? He said, not at all. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I went and, got my stuff moved from because originally I was hunting fawn 1, and we wasn't having any action or any movement over there. So I took, I guess, Wednesday. Wednesday, because Shane shot his bear on Tuesday. I went out Wednesday evening, and Steve Moore went in with me. He said, hey, I'll bait your barrel while you're getting set up. I'm like, cool, okay, great. So I get up in my saddle, and I'm sitting there. And at this point, our hunt started on Saturday. It's Wednesday, and I'm like, okay, I've waited all my life to do this. If I could just see a bear in the woods, I would be happy. So I'm sitting there, and anybody that saddle hunts will know what I'm talking about. I've got my bridge coming down off the tree. I've got my face leaned up against it, and I'm just looking in a general direction. And it dawned on me, and I know I said this out loud, because I saw a bear walking up the trail, and it took me a minute, and I said, holy shit. I'm looking at this bear, and it looks like a Volkswagen Beetle walking up the trail. And I'm like, well, you gotta be kidding me. So he comes in about 45 yards and he's throwing his nose up in the air. And he's sniffing, just trying to, catch some wind. And he moves off to my left. Well, he walks up to the left and he starts coming down this trail. And I'm thinking to myself, now I'm first time bear hunting. I don't know nothing about it. I've been asking questions all week, what's the number one thing I need to do? And everybody's telling me, be patient, pick your shot. Mm-hmm. So he comes down about 30 yards, but he's still in the brush. And this thing is a tank. And I know everybody says they look bigger than what they are. So I'm like, okay. So this thing, if he had been brown, he'd have looked like a grizzly. He had that big hump on his back, everything. So he moved back off to the left and went away. He wouldn't come into the bait. So I sat there. And this was 7:20 in the evening. Well, at 8:20, he came back. And I'm like, that is a huge bear. Well, I got to justify that. I mean, I got little videos of him on my phone. Well, from behind, at the same time the big bear was there was another bear that come in from behind me. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that's a big bear. That's a huge bear. So anyway, now I'm sitting in my stand, and 9:30 comes around, and it's like neither one of them's come in. The little bear give me a 30-yard quartering away shot, and I'm like, no, I'm not taking that. We've been on blood trailing escapades all week, and they don't bleed. I'm not taking that shot.
No.
So I just hang tight, and okay, so then it hit me at 9:30. I'm having to get down. I got 2 apex predators surrounding my, circling me. And I felt like a fish in the middle of the ocean with sharks, going around me, and I'm like, oh boy, So now keep in mind, this is my very first bear hunt. At this point, I got to see 2 bears in the wild, in a tree stand. So I'm good. My whole hunt was good.
Yeah.
So I get down, I walk out to the road. I'm waiting for Steve that's hunting neighboring 5 to come pick me up. And, the mosquitoes are in your eyelids, they're in your ear holes, you're trying to get all them out, And I look down and I'm like, them wolf tracks wasn't there when I walked in, So we get back to camp, fast forward to the next evening. So I get up in the tree, my barrel got hit that night again. So I rebaited it, all that. So I got up in my tree stand. Well, 7:45, I heard a snap, over my left shoulder. So I kind of looked over my left shoulder, and here comes this bear. And I'm like, okay, so I get my camera out and I'm videoing. And I video him until he gets up to, to a certain point. And I'm like, okay, this is going to happen. So I slid the phone in my pocket, and he came around. This was a little boar. I've spent the last 5 years, learning how to judge bears, recognize if they're sow or they're a boar. Well, he come around, and he's 10 yards away from me. Well, he gets up to the bait barrel. My bait barrel's laying down. And, you got your sticks in your bait hole, and all that. So, try to keep them in the area, Well, he leans and stretches out way forward, and he's got his nose at the ground, nibbling at something, but he's got his back left foot up, and his left shoulder is back. And I'm like, this, you got your bow off your hanger, you got pressure on the string. Yeah. You're just waiting for your shot. And that's what's running through my mind. wait for your shot, wait for your shot. This is what everybody's telling him, right? So he rocks back and he puts his foot down, but he's still got his front left shoulder back. He rocks back and he swings his head and he looks up at me. And I'm like, so I'm just dead still. And I guess he accepts what he sees. So he goes back and does the same exact thing again. Stretches way out. He's nibbling at the ground, got his back foot up off the ground. And then he comes back, puts pressure on his back foot, and then he starts to turn and go away. Well, he leads with his front left leg. Mm-hmm. I said, there's my shot.
Yeah.
So I know I hit anchor. I don't remember. So anyway, I got my string tracker, hooked to my arrow, all this. He turns left, and I got a good corner away shot. I come back, I hit anchor, and next thing I know, it's on its way. I get a complete pass through. When the arrow hits him, he just, and the string is flying out of my string tracker like I got a big marlin on the line, and he runs out 15 yards and stops and just dies right there. I got the death moan. I got everything. And my arrow I got double lines going up to the bear. So before I left, my wife, she's Chinese. She told me, she said, I love you. Have a good time. She said, you can't come back until you kill a bear. And I'm like, well, baby, I can't stay gone that long. So I call her. I sound like a little schoolgirl, I'm like, baby, I killed a bear, Mm-hmm. And she's like, that's great. You're awesome. That's great. You're awesome. She said, now you can come home. So next phone call, I'm trying to call my brother. He's out on the boat.
I wouldn't answer.
He wouldn't answer.
I was catching walleye.
He was catching walleye. He's out on the boat with Jason. So then I call our buddy, Mick Quinn. Mick answers the phone, and I'm like, and he said, hang on a minute, I'll let you talk to your brother. So I tell my brother I killed a bear, and he's like, well, you see, I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting there looking at it. He died 15 yards, And so he said, all right, I'm on my way. So him and Mick and Rue showed up. That's Jason's daughter. No. Or not Jason, but Mike's daughter.
Yep.
And my brother walks up and he hands me a code one. He said, I figured you'd need this. So I said, well, right there he is. I'm pointing to him. Right there he is. So we go up there, I get my arrow, and I got double lines off my string tracker going straight up to the bear. And I mean, the string is still running through the entrance hole, through the exit hole. Mm-hmm. I got the whole enchilada. I got the, watching, shooting, watching, the death moan, and he fell in 15 yards. Because I kept telling myself when the shot was coming was how hard it was to blood trail these bears.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make a good shot, and the Lord was with me. I couldn't have done any better. Man. So we loaded him up on the sled and drug him out, So that was my first adventure with the bear hunt.
Now, were you shooting a skunk pig too?
No, sir. I was shooting my brother's two-piece trauma.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, man. And then what was your broadhead?
VPA.
Yeah.
I sharpened them thing. It's a 3-blade. I sharpened them every day for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Leading up to that bear hunt.
Well, you want them sharp. I mean, you do. I mean, bears, from what I know, which is limited, I think they're pretty I don't know, I wouldn't, well, yeah, they're not hard to get a pass through if you get it in the boiler room, and
Right. Well,
man,
we definitely took out both lungs on him.
yeah.
So
Now, did you weigh yours, Jeff?
no, sir. Um, he was somewhere between 125 and 150.
Yeah.
He was probably about 6.5 foot.
Okay. That's so cool. I mean, there's not a better feeling of well, yeah, you guys tag out of the same tree and
Yeah,
man, that's
yeah, it was so cool. Just
that's really cool. All right. Well, those are great hunts and like I said earlier, we're gonna have to I don't know how everybody's schedule looks like for next year, but we gotta get up there next May or June, whatever. And
Oh yeah, we've already got the invite. We're headed back.
okay, good, good. Because I'm definitely gonna go. I'm definitely going next May, but or whenever the spring, thing.
Yeah.
So
well, I can honestly say, for my very first bear hunt, and I soaked everything up like a sponge. I mean, I asked questions, every everybody from Mike to Tim Buss to Steve Moore to Mick Quinn to Dirty Dan, so I mean, those guys were just so full of knowledge and just willing to help.
yeah, no,
So it was it couldn't work out any better.
yeah, no, that's awesome. It's just a great place, and yeah, that's cool. Well, let's switch into you guys are both have side hustles, if you will, as a lot of people do in the trad community. Um, Shane's got Ben Leo bows, and Jeff's got Circle Archery. So, Jeff, since you just got done yakking about your bear story, and that was a very good recap, by the way. Shane, why don't you start us off with your business, your side hustle, or whatever, Ben Leo Bow Company. Maybe just tell us a little bit about it and how you got into it and all that stuff.
Okay. The little community I live in out here is actually called Ben Leo. It's I don't know when the man lived here, but they named the place after him. That's his name, Ben Leo. And they just, it's like, hey, where you live? Like out in Ben Leo. And everybody's like, okay, I know where that's at. So, anyway, I was into trad pretty heavy from the time I was little up to, a young man. And then I got on the compound wagon like a lot of people did. And after so many years, I got noticing I was setting up my trees and just watching deer walk by and not shooting at them, And I come home one day and I told my wife, I said, I think I'm going to build a recurve and trying to kill a deer with it. And she's like, okay, that's fine, honey. And anyway, I started researching it and learned, seeing what all I needed to do and everything. And I'm just one of those guys that, I got to do everything myself to make it right. It don't count if I buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it didn't take me long. Within 3 months, I had my first recurve built, and I was shooting it in the backyard, and I think I hunted twice after the season opened, and I shot a big doe, and it was on. There was no looking back, and it just then it turned into, well, I need to build a longbow and kill a deer with that, and
Yeah.
I done that, and then I need to build a self bow and kill a deer with that, and I it all happened so quick, and then a buddy says, I want a bow, so I built them a bow, and their buddy wants one, and I just can't believe
when he says buddy, he means brother.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, but he's my buddy.
that's good. That's if you could refer to your brother as your buddy, those are good signs right there.
Yeah. Yeah. He's lucky to have me.
Right?
Well, anyway, I got the big notion of, hey, I might can start selling bows, and I, I'm just, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. I love it,
Yeah.
and I have been blessed. I'm pushing 7 months behind on orders right now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's
Yeah,
most of it word of mouth, would you say, Shane?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I do very little advertising. I've got a website, and I don't know if anybody's ever just found my website and say, "Hey, I want to order a bow."
Yeah.
That's more of a tool. Like, here, you can look at my website and see what I do.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Facebook's great, but I'm guilty of just not posting a lot of stuff on it. I was never on Facebook till I started building bows, and my wife talked me into opening a page,
Yeah.
and it's helped a lot.
Yeah.
And it is a great way to stay in touch with friends you don't get to see very often. So,
Yeah. No,
I like that part of it.
well, I think at Compton I shot your trauma and really liked it. And
It did.
um, yeah, circumstances didn't happen as we discussed, Shane, but
Right.
it's a great shooter. I didn't shoot the skunk pig. I'm sure it's just as great of a shooter. So which of your are those your two models, right? The skunk pig and the trauma?
I actually build 4 models. I
Oh,
built the trauma, and it's got it's a hybrid. I guess you'd call it a hybrid. It's got a inch and a half, 2 inches of reflex deflex in the limbs. And, I built it in a 60, 62, 64. And they're great. You know, I built bows like I built the bows that I wanted to hunt with.
yeah,
And I went into it thinking that's what I'm going to build. And if somebody likes it, great.
yeah,
So I've been really lucky with my customers and my orders. And I get a lot of repeat customers. They want one of each, but I built a trauma. I built a Mingo, which is a D style longbow. It's
okay,
not a true ASL because it's probably got a half inch of R&D in the limbs.
okay,
And, but that was my first love, actually, the D style longbow. I still
yeah,
love to hunt with those. And, and then my baby is the skunk pig. And a lot of people give me that look. What's a skunk pig? What's a skunk pig? Yeah.
yeah,
Well, me and my brother go to Texas about every year and hunt javelina. And that is one of my absolute favorite things to do.
yeah,
And for people that don't know, the nickname for the javelina in Texas is a skunk pig because they kind of stink,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And, and I just, I wanted a short bow that was easy to maneuver in the cactuses and the prickly pears and the mesquite thorns.
yeah,
And so I come up with that forward handle, 60-inch, extremely reflex deflex longbow.
yeah,
And that thing has took off. It's crazy. I cannot keep them. I sell them before I get them finished.
yeah.
It's amazing.
It's yeah. Like I said, yeah. I shot the trauma. I was very impressed, and the just it's just And then you had an awesome booth at Compton. I don't know, for some reason, maybe I thought, Shane, you were cooler than your brother. I didn't even spend any time at your brother's booth. I was over at the A. Boyer guys. I kind of blew
Yeah,
him off, but
yeah.
he'll
He
get
gets that
over
a lot.
it.
I do.
Uh, and you know what?
It's okay. I got broad shoulders, Mark.
Okay. And the other thing I thought of the other day is I said, man,
Well, I had Tim Nuss with me at my booth just to attract people. So that worked out great.
Sugar
I
Bear,
paid him, pretty good price to, hang out with me, but, you know,
Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear, what a solid guy that guy is, man.
I love him like a brother. I wish I'd have
Yeah.
met him 50 years ago.
Uh, well, I also felt bad because I thought of this, I don't know, a few days after being home. I'm like, I gave Shane a hoodie.
Yeah, thank you.
I never gave one to Jeff. And I'm
No,
like,
I'm used to it.
In all fairness, it was hot in that tent they were all in.
that's although I did tell Shane that I only had two X's left. So Jeff, you look a little slimmer, so you probably don't take a 2X.
I'm just waiting for him to wash his and dry it, and I'll get it. That's why I say that's my little big brother.
Uh,
I don't wash my hunting clothes.
No, he buries them, Mark. You think I'm lying?
Yeah, I think you stand a better chance if you smell like a groundhog.
That's
And
true.
rut. Groundhog and rut.
Well, this recording has already got the most laughs ever. This is awesome.
Okay. Is that moonshine? What are you drinking?
This is Lake Michigan water right there.
Lake Michigan.
Well,
Yeah.
that's about right.
Crystal clear.
And then we were drinking coffee out of the
Yeah.
Compton cup.
Compton mug. And yeah, well, so you're building bows and you're out 7 months and
Yeah, I work a full-time job and I come home and work another full-time job.
that's a lot. But you know what? If you love it doing it, you know what I mean?
I do.
I'm the same way with building arrows. I love going down there. I put the Bluetooth speaker on. Try to find a podcast I haven't listened to yet, and
Yeah.
I love it. And
I tell everybody that I would love to have help in the bow shop, but I don't know that I really want it because that's what I do. I go out there and start my music and put my head down and start grinding and gluing, and next thing you know, 5 hours have went by.
yeah.
It's just I absolutely enjoy building the bows. I love it.
Now, what's your thoughts for, down the road? You're just gonna, I don't want to say keep doing what you're doing, but do you have any plans to, you know, as far as your business goes, your bow business?
Well, it seems to be doing good on its own as far as growing.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm looking at about 5 years maximum before I can retire from my day job.
Okay.
So I'm just going to keep on trucking, and in 5 years, I hope I'm building bows 8 hours a day
Yeah.
instead of going to work, working my 40, 45 hours or whatever, and then coming home and putting that much more in, working weekends and holidays just to keep up with orders.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I love to crappie fish. I haven't been crappie fishing since I started building bows. It's just, it coincides with what I call shoot season. Our shoots start in February, and then there's one every month: February, March, April, May, June, and it takes all I can to keep up with going to the shoots to have bows on the table, plus keep up with orders.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'd like to build bows 8-10 hours a day and have my weekends free, and spend time with my wife and go fishing and
with his brother.
Yes. Yeah.
We spend a lot of time together.
With his buddy.
Yeah,
But
my little brother.
Well, I tell you, I think you guys are, well, no, maybe you're, I don't know, episode whatever, 10 something. But I was thinking you were episode 100 and that would get you absolutely nothing. But
Right.
you know, interviewing all you guys in this world, if you will, they're all hard-working guys, like Boyers, Jeff, we'll get to your story here in a minute. It just seems to be a trait of people that, whether they're Boyers, leather guys, quivers, arrows, whatever, they're just guys that just get after it. And it's just so fun. And the problem I was just texting with, I don't know if you guys know Kevin Bishop or have met Kevin Bishop.
oh yeah, we know Kevin.
Okay. Uh, I'm shooting the trauma, and then I'm shooting a bear takedown. I've never shot a bear takedown. Gene Hopkins actually let me borrow his to shoot it, so I was like, and that's the problem. When you go to, at least for me, you go to these shoots and you're like, okay, I would like to give that guy $800. I'd like to give that guy $1,000. I'd like,
Right.
and it's just, I don't know. It's
I
overwhelming
get
at
it.
times.
I usually bring more home than I take with me when I go to a shoot.
Did you guys come home with any bows from Compton?
Not bows, but
Okay.
I had a pretty good armload of stuff I brought with me.
Yeah, man.
But you were talking about the 100th episode or whatever. It reminded me of a story at Cloverdale this past season. I was standing there at my table, and this little boy, he was probably 10 or 11. He walks up, and he's just standing there looking at all my stuff. I said, "You see something you like?" And he shook his head, "Yeah." I said, "Which one?" And he pointed at a used recurve I took on trade. I said, "You like that?" And he said, "Yes, sir." I said, "You can't shoot that. That's 53 pounds." He shook his head, "Yeah." I said, "You want to shoot it?" And he said, "Yeah." And I strung it up for him, handed it to him. He pulled that thing back from past his ear, and he held it like it was nothing. I would have been doing this. And I said, I handed him some arrows. I said, "Go shoot it." And I watched him. He went over to the range, and he was just letting them fly. He was having the best time. He come over. I said, "Do you like it?" And he shook his head, "Yeah." I said, "Guess what?" "What?" I said, "You're my 50th customer today. You just won that bow." His mouth fell open. He said, "Are you serious?" I said, "I'm dead serious. That's your bow." And the look on his face was money couldn't have bought it. So
That's so cool.
yeah, he was tickled to death.
Ah, man, you got a customer for life there. You can
Yeah,
guarantee that.
that's right. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Making friends.
that's 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 too cool. Well, another thing I forgot to say is we were all at, I think all three of us were at the UBI banquet.
Yes, sir.
And I remember distinctly walking by your table, Shane, and going, well, and yours, Jeff. I'm like, who's this Circle E and Ben Leo Bose? Who's ever heard of that? Like, who
Yeah.
are these guys? And then I never went up to talk to you guys, or it's just
Yeah, that was our first time at the UBI, and actually, that was kind of our first time headed north. All the shows and shoots we do are mainly down south or here in Kentucky.
Okay.
Nobody knows us up there. But I've already got several orders from guys from Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow. That was a fun event.
Oh, it was. Yeah. Tim and Mike and Jason Beaudry and all those guys, they're just, thanks the world of them. Feel like we've known them forever.
Yeah.
We all hit it off. It's great.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was a good now we know about Ben Leo Bow Company. So everybody go online and order 2 or 3 models of each, or 3 of each model, and
Yeah.
push Shane to like 8 or 9 months out. And
Right.
so Jeff, let's switch over to you. You got Circle E Archery. In fact, I had your business card laying around here. I must have used it for kindling or something. I don't
There
know.
you go.
Right.
Tell me the Circle E story, or Circle E Archery story. How'd you get involved doing that?
Well, when we were little, we grew up in southeastern Kentucky, and it was just one of those mindsets, like Shane said, that if we needed something, we would, well, I can make that. So ever since we were kids, we were making knife keys, stuff like that.
We didn't have a lot of options in Eastern Kentucky.
Right. So, I mean, we were poor, but we didn't know it because everybody was poor.
Right.
So fast forward, my past jobs, in the government, it seems like I was always carrying a sidearm, you know, in military or law enforcement. So I started making gun holsters, you know, for the longest, and then it cut into Shane's story where he was like, "I want to make a recurve, or you know, and I want to kill a deer with it." So when he got that first recurve made, he was like, "Hey Jeff," he called me up on the phone. He said, "Come down here. I want to show you something." So we get out in his backyard, and he shows me this bow that he made. So we always, you know, shot recurves or something when we were kids. You know, we never even saw a compound until we were much older.
Yeah.
And you know, we was cutting river cane arrows or whatever, you know, making homemade bows or you know, just running the creek bank, shooting at everything that moved. And so we started shooting this bow that he made, and I was like, Shane, I gotta have one. I want you to make me one. You know, so,
Yeah.
because like he said, you know, we all went through the compound stage, but when it got to the point where one year, literally, I let 16 bucks walk underneath my stand, and it just wasn't fun anymore hunting with a
Yeah.
compound. And now I get tore up if a slickhead doe walks in. You know, I I mean, I could tell you my first episode of shooting at a doe with a recurve, or I missed that thing at 10 yards 3 times. I shot over its back.
Yep.
You know, so I run home, I get in the tree stand and try to duplicate everything that I did of why I missed. And it's all geometry, you know.
Yeah.
You know, when they're that close, it's like, you know, you got to shoot at fish, you know. So once I got that figured out, you know, it was good to go.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so my brother later, he's like, you need to start making like quivers or something. You know, so the first thing that I made was finger pads.
Mm.
And we went down classic the first time,
I think so.
and I had a pocket full of tabs that I'd made. And but you know, and it's very rare that I go somewhere and come back with more money than I went down with. You know, so that's kind of where it started, and then it moved into arm guards, and then from there, you know, I started, you know, playing with the one piece quiver, and you know, just constantly trying to make them better as you go.
Yeah.
So I had to get into, you know, making my own tools to make, you know, the frames. And then I got into where, and this is all new ground to me, Mark. I've never done this before. I'm having to make casting modes because I got into building my own foam. It's a self-healing foam. And then I got into powder coating where, you know, just trying to, you know, upgrade the frames where you couldn't, you know, where they wouldn't scratch up or mar up or anything like that. So, and then, you know, just, and that's what's great about the community is because, you know, like Great Northern Quivers with Eric,
Yeah.
you know, he's got the market cornered on these straps, but they're the best thing on the market.
Yeah.
And then Andy and Debbie with Selway, you know, they make the best channel and the best grippers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and when the guy that was making them for them retired, well, Andy and Debbie bought the machine that makes them. So I went to them and I told them what I wanted to do with my quivers, and I wanted to purchase my strap. I wanted to get my grippers and channel from Debbie and Andy, and they were like, "Well, shoot, yeah, man, that would be great," you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just a, you know, a brotherhood.
Yeah.
and so that's what I did, and, and I'm starting to get a pretty good following. But I just started making a string tracker this past year. I got a patent on it.
Oh,
I've had, that I know of, I've had 3 bears taking my string trackers that work flawlessly. So I, we make pocket quivers, cross quivers, hip quivers, hunting quivers, water bottle holders. I mean, I make the accessory brackets for the fishing reels. Uh, and Three Rivers carries my accessory bracket and my string tracker in their
oh,
catalog.
oh, okay.
So
Wow. You guys ought to put on the Ben Leo website, and maybe you do, but you ought to put your buddy here, his products on your Ben Leo website, and then you ought to start a website, Jeff, and put your buddy's bows on there.
well, and I do. I have a website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just www dot right at Circle Archery.
It kind of goes together. If somebody buys a bow from me, they'll buy a quiver from him.
Yeah.
It works out great.
Yeah.
I've actually had a store in Missouri and another store in Arizona contact me to carry my bows, and I have to turn them down because I cannot produce them that fast. I'm just a one-man show. I can't ship them 12 or 15 bows at once. I can't do it. I can't keep them. I sell them fast as I build them.
Wow. Well, I just heard today, was it today or yesterday? You our loved postal service, USPS, are raising their rates.
Well, good.
Yeah, depending on what it is, up to 50%. I heard. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think we've all had
I was worried about them. I was afraid they was losing money.
our issues with deliveries.
Yeah, I shipped a bow a youth bow to Indiana a couple months ago. Took him 11 weeks to get it. From Kentucky to Indiana, it took 11 weeks.
And I had a quiver that come from Kentucky to Ohio that took 7 weeks.
you could walk it faster than that.
Yeah.
So I try to deal with UPS. That's
But they've got crazy.
Yeah.
They've gotten outrageous.
Well, do you guys use
bows? They're 48 inches, and I keep the packages as short as I can keep it. And I shipped, I don't know how many youth bows for like, $30.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I go in there one day, and they're like, "It's going to be $103." I said, "Hold on a minute. What happened here?" He said, "Well, that's what it calls for." I said, "Measure it again." And he said, "Well, okay." And he measured it again. He said, "Yeah, it's going to be $103." I said, "You don't know how many of these I've shipped right here in the same office for $40."
Yeah.
What changed? Nothing's changed. This is just what it calls for. I said, "Look my history up and see what I've been shipping." "Well, we don't keep history." I said, "Of course you don't." And anyway, I got mad and left. That's the same bow I shipped with UPS that took 11 weeks to get there. So what do you do?
That's so aggravating. I haven't sent out like a big quantity of arrows. I haven't had one disappear yet, but I keep waiting for that other shoe to fall and say, "Hey, I never got it." And yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's gotten so bad that
Yes.
yeah, it's a joke. Do you guys use pirate ship?
I've heard of that. I've heard of ShipStation, and there's a couple different ones. And my wife is my favorite employee. She's looking at me funny.
She does wonderful work, by the way.
if I have to set up an account or something, I say, hey, honey, can you do this? So I just haven't went through the proper channels to get her to set me up with Pirate Ship or
Yeah.
ShipStation or something.
It's pretty
But
good.
and I don't make money on shipping. When people ask me about a bow, they say, what's it cost? I'll say this much plus actual shipping. And I always send them a picture of the receipt with what it costs to ship it.
Yeah.
You know,
That's fair. That's fair.
Same
Right.
here. Same
Yeah.
here.
Man. All right. I think I texted both of you before we were gonna do this historic podcast. What time is it? 8:11. All right. I've been dropping a few episodes on YouTube, blah blah blah. So we need to have a little bit of show and tell because I think if somebody is still gonna be listening to us on YouTube, we got to show them like something cool.
yeah.
Why don't you show like, your bow or something Circle E or something?
Okay.
Well, who you want to go first?
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the string tracker that I started making this year.
Lift it up a little bit. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And if you run my quiver, you can actually take the strap and this leather off, and I can drill and tap to the frame of my quiver like it would set like right here. Oh, excuse me. Let me grab it. Okay, I'm back. So it sets like this right here. And that way you don't have to deal with the strap. And your arrows fit right, they'll go right over the quiver into the hood, and you never have to take it off.
Oh.
But if you don't run my quivers, it's got a strap. It's a little Velcro strap, and it'll fit around. I think the biggest riser out there as far as wide was the older Black Widows.
Okay. Yep.
And they will actually fit around one of those. And it's real simple. Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah. So you have, for lack of a better word, like a fishing line in there or a nylon thing? Or...
Actually, I've got it's called a little buttonhole snap. You unsnap it right there.
All right, lift it up a little bit. There you go. Okay.
Okay, there's the snap. And I got a trap door that just closes up and snaps. And here you got a little spool of string. And Norman Parks, that makes the trad tracker, supplies me with these strings.
Oh.
And I've talked to him. I'm gonna start carrying some of his string trackers in my booth, and he's gonna start carrying some of mine.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a brotherhood. It's just something different for whatever anybody likes. But we've had great success with these. They don't deflect the arrow flight whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're just, it's made out of all leather and sinew. It's really traditional. And they work great.
So do you attach the string right behind the broadhead?
Yep. Yeah. If you use the screw in type like I do, you just wrap it around, between your arrow and where your broadhead screws in, just tighten it down.
Yeah.
If you use woodies, I recommend taking just a little piece of electrical tape or something like that, and just tape it on there.
Ha! That's so cool.
And I've shot it out to 35 yards, and it don't mess with the arrow flight whatsoever.
Yeah.
Those spools are really nice. If you remember the old game tracker,
yep,
that come in the plastic deal that screwed into your compound.
Yeah.
Those things, when you'd shoot them a whole big wad of string would come out, and your arrow would more than likely hit the dirt.
Right.
So, those things right there, they're foolproof. They're
Now,
wonderful.
did you guys both use one to get your bear?
He did. I did not.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't give my buddy one.
Uh,
He was
I'll tell you what, those older brothers.
No kidding.
well, I asked him. I said, Shane, I said, why didn't you use your string tracker? He said, because you didn't give me one.
Was he that? Was he expecting me to place an order? I mean, I was like, "Where's my string tracker?" You know, if I have to ask, I'm just not going to get it.
My brother calls me 2 days before turkey season and says, "Hey, you think you can make a string tracker?" Well, yeah, probably. He said, "Well, can you make it by Friday?" But you know, it's a Wednesday. So I jumped through hoops to make him one, and then he don't even go turkey hunting.
Ah,
I got busy. That was a couple years ago.
oh man. Well, I gotta have to get me one of those. Those look really, really cool. And yeah, no, all right. All right, Shane, you're up. You're
Yes,
next.
sir.
What's Shane got there? He's probably got the skunk pig.
Skunk pig, my baby.
Look at that.
Yeah, this is the only one I have.
Look at that.
This is my personal bow.
Man, that's the actual Shane Evans model.
Yeah, yeah.
He lost it. He lost a tooth, and he put it in the riser. So get him to show you his tooth.
There's my tooth.
Oh yeah, I can see that resembles your teeth, Shane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All the
That's
skunk
cool.
pigs come with a javelina tusk in the riser.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now that's the 2-piece model, right?
Yeah, this is a 2-piece. This is actually the bow I shot my bear with.
Wow.
I shot a real nice buck this season. I killed my turkey with it.
What kind of wood is in that riser, Shane?
The dark wood right here is called wenge or wingay. Depends on what part of the country you're from, how you pronounce it. The red is Paduke.
Okay.
I hope I'm saying that right. I got a little bit of zebra and Paduke overlays on it. It's black limba. Called black limba in the limbs.
That's cool.
And it's got American bison for the horn tip overlay.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, who makes your strings? Do you make them, or do you have somebody do them for you?
Well, I've always made my own strings, but recently, a fella by the name of Hank Patterson, he owns Backyard Bowyers out of Georgia. Me and him, I built him a bow, and me and him got to talking, and I'd be like, you know what, Hank? If you wanted to start making strings, that'd be awesome. If all I had to do was reach over there and pick one off the wall and put it on whatever I need. But I hate making strings.
Yeah, right.
Backyard Bowyers.
Bow shop.
Backyard Bow Shop. Hank Patterson.
Okay.
And he's actually put some YouTube videos out there with some of my bows and some of my brother's stuff. And Hank's a really good guy. He's really
easy to work with.
Yeah.
Okay. It's backyard
Bow shop.
Backyard Bow Shop or something like that.
Yeah. He's out of Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't have any more bows to show you.
Well, no,
that's my personal bow, and I just don't have any more.
I gotta grab something here.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't know. I really like yellow for
I love yellow.
Yeah.
for my hunting arrows.
Yeah,
And,
chartreuse. Hunting and fishing, that's a great color.
yeah, and this one I stain like a gray,
That's pretty.
compared to this is just natural.
Yeah.
And then of course I got to have my A. Boyer single bevel
Nice.
heads. I really like those.
Yeah.
So, and then what I do I know this might be weird. I just did this the other night. I got so many, when you build arrows, you got them like coming out of your ears, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
I thought, I don't know how much this one weighs, that one weighs. So I started writing on the, 548 grains and yeah,
Sure.
I don't know. Thought I'd do that, but and I'll tell you what, these I don't know if you guys ever used king feathers. These are king feathers, and man, I'll tell you what, I
Are you
think,
talking about Custom King? Or
yeah, yeah, it's
okay.
their brand of feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Custom King, they've been around forever. They're a great,
yeah,
great
yeah, they
company.
they got some cool stuff.
When
Um,
I build my own wood arrows,
do you?
I'll do what you're doing. I'll weigh them.
Yeah,
I'll write the weight on them
yeah,
and everything. I'll number them, and I'll shoot each arrow. I don't know how many times, just to make sure that one
yep,
arrow is flying like I want it to fly.
yep,
And out of a dozen, sometimes there's two or three that I'll be like,
yeah.
no, not going to do it.
No,
Can't cut it.
no.
So I'll throw a judo or something on it and lay it in the corner.
Right. And when you go on a bear hunt, deer hunt, whatever, I mean, sometimes what I'll do is I'll number my best one a one and then a two and then a three. I mean, in most hunts, you're not going to shoot, at least me. I don't my two bear hunts, each hunt was one arrow was thrown, if you will. Uh,
Yes.
but yeah,
Well, tell us about your bear hunt.
that was kind of actually it's kind of a neat twist to it. We did the same thing, hunted from I think Sunday to Friday. So my buddy on Monday, these were the compound days, so we were sinners back then. And so he shoots a bear Monday evening, and we get back to camp, and we're looking at we all were using GoPros. So we get the footage back at camp on a laptop, and we're like, man, that looks like a good shot. Well, he tracked it for with the outfitter, and he said, I think I walked the entire province of Ontario, never found it.
Oh my goodness.
And and the outfitter was super cool. He was an old crusty guy, just tough as nails. And he said, that bear's fine. It's gonna live fine. So that was Monday. So my buddy, I was with two other guys, a total of three of us. And my one buddy got his first bear, I think on like Tuesday. So we were all jacked. And then my other buddy, I think, got his on Wednesday. He shot when the outfitter estimated it was 350 pounds. It had a
Wow.
big head on it.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there. It's Friday. I'm getting frustrated. I haven't had a shot yet. I've seen a few. I saw a sow with cubs. I had one lone bear come in, and I thought it was just too small. So the last day, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to hunt Friday night because we got a long drive home Saturday. And my buddies are like, no, you get your butt back in the stand. I was a little down, and he's like, get out there. I'm like, all right, I'll get out there. So I was sitting there and I just happened to turn my head a little bit to the left, and there's a bear, and she just saw me turn my head, right? Saw me
Right.
turn my head, and she kind of took a few, just ran away a little bit while I could still barely make her out. Thought, well, okay. Well, she comes back to the bait, I don't know, 15 minutes later, and she grabs the 5-gallon bucket and she starts to take off. And I thought, and I didn't have any shots before she got the bucket, and she only went like 3 or 4 feet past the bait. And I'm like, oh, well, this is still a money shot for a compound.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I shot her. And if you watch the GoPro footage, she does a complete head first somersault
Yes.
and then takes off. She didn't go, I don't know. I'm serious. She didn't go far, 30, 40, 50 yards, did the death moan. Okay. And I'm like you guys, first time doing this. Well, when I shot her, she ran towards where my truck was parked.
Nice.
Well, not my truck. I actually had the outfitter's truck, his really nice truck. Well, my thought process was, I was 95% sure the bear was dead.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't really want to run into her as I was going to the truck. So I look, if somebody would have had a video, I'm doing like the really quiet, I'm doing a big wide circle. It's just, but it worked out great. We went back. I got on his radio in his truck and said, "Hey, I got a bear. I think it's down." Blah blah blah. They came and high fiving and there's just in anything in hunting or whatever, your first is the best, right? Your first bear is
Yeah.
the best. Your first big walleye is the best. It's just nothing like it.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
was 2016. In fact, I got a picture of it here, and me and my buddies, and that's what I've been doing more and more of doing 8 by 10 pictures and
Yes.
putting them in a frame, and it takes up way because I don't have a big house and takes up a
Right.
lot of space, and so that's what I've been doing. So there you have it here. We could even give you a. Oh,
There you
there.
go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Very
me in the
nice.
middle. So yeah, we got pheasants and smallmouth bass. Yeah, it's just fun, right? You got to have
Yes, it
memories to
is.
look at. So, all right, we got any other show and tell objects for our 3 or 4 YouTube listeners?
Um, we can go over the quivers real quick if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Uh, this particular one actually, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, this one's got alligator on it.
Oh.
Everything we do is every stitch, every hose by hand. Can you see the foam?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a self-healing foam that I make that I put in them. So like when you pull your arrow out, that hose will actually close up. And it's got
Oh.
a good self-dampening quality to it when you got a quiver full of arrows, because
Yeah.
it really absorbs a lot of that kinetic energy. Of course, here's your Great Northern straps I was talking
Yeah.
about. And then the frames that you can see here, I had to learn how to powder coat
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
just to try to make a better product. Because before it was sand them, self-etching primer, and rattle cannon. And they were good and people were buying them and they held up good, but the finish on them, it didn't much to
Yeah.
knock off. So just trying to overall make a better product.
Yeah.
But we can make a 6 down to a 3 or whatever, whatever you want.
Okay. So you do a 6 arrow and a 3 arrow?
Anywhere in between.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but
Now,
yeah.
do you do any of the like I
Well,
got a
here you saw the one with the alligator.
yeah.
Now, can you see that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, a lot of people would consider that to be a custom quiver.
Yeah.
We consider that one of our stock quivers.
Oh.
So a lot of them, unless we get a request, like if you come by the booth, most of them have an animal on them that most people will hunt.
Yeah.
Everybody's got either strutting turkey or a whitetail and like at Compton, I had a buddy pick one up, Mick Quinn. He wanted an ibex. So
Oh.
we put an ibex on one. But I consider that a stock quiver. So as far as the price point goes, they're it's a great quiver for the
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I've always been a Great Northern guy,
Mhm.
and he does the logo.
Yep.
Is that something you're able to do, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got a buddy out in Montana that actually made these standards,
Mm,
for me, because if I sit down and hand tool them, let's be honest, you don't get paid for the time that you spend on
no,
this.
no.
So, I'll invest in buying these standards, one time. And I mean, I use them on hip quivers, water bottle holders, uh, anything I want,
Yeah.
you know. So it's, it, I like it. I love
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
No,
We meet
that's
a lot of good people. Uh, the shows. The only that bad thing about it is like the able your, heads. Joe, from Great Northern Quivers. We know, a lot of these people's like Steamboat that I've heard
yeah,
you talk about. We don't get to get out from our booths and meet these people because we're always having to man our booths.
yeah.
But by listening to your podcast since we've left Compton,
Mm,
man, I have learned of a bunch of new people.
yeah.
I really want to try to make a point to get out and meet.
Yeah, we met Joe Callahan at the
UBI.
UBI bank. I love that man.
Joe is awesome.
He is a nut. He is so fun to talk to.
He's a hoot. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he is.
but
That's actually where I'm at on the podcast right now. Is I've had it on since we've left Compton, and
yeah.
being on the mower or running the weed eater all day, I've just got my earbuds in and
Yeah.
I'm listening to all these podcasts, one right after the other.
Yeah, we listened to your podcast all the way home from Compton.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. That's so cool. Well, Joe has been such a great help for me uh in terms of helping me with the finishes for the arrows. He's just been a
Yeah,
great help. And like, everybody like we've talked about, everybody likes to help each other and support each other
Yeah.
and
it's a community. It's a brotherhood.
yeah,
It's the friends you've always wanted.
yeah. And
Absolutely.
The
I have a
brothers,
question.
the brothers you never had.
yeah.
The family you like.
Yeah.
Right, right,
I
right.
have a question for you, Mark.
Yeah.
I see all those bows hanging on your wall back there, and from what I've heard, is you haven't been in the trad world all that long.
No.
What changed you? What got you started?
I if I'm honest, I always wanted to try it even during the whole I started bow hunting in 1995 and I bow hunted for 15 years on my aunt's property and it was full of deer. And it really wasn't, I mean, it was, don't get me wrong, it was a blast, but I don't know, just, I think one of the things that turned me off was when Garmin came out with I think it was a sight.
Yeah,
And
with the rangefinder in it.
yeah, and I'm going, you know what? No.
There's got to be some skill, some woodsmanship in there somewhere.
Right? And
Yeah,
so I just jumped in and the first year I did it, I had my Matthews compound and I had a Timberhawk Odyssey longbow. Really liked that bow.
yeah.
And I started off the season with the Timberhawk. I don't even remember. I think it was a small buck. I didn't get within 5 feet of that thing at 15 yards. And then it kind of went out about 5 yards and stopped, and I just sort of flung another one
Yeah.
and
After the first one, it just goes haywire, don't it? Pick a spot. What's that mean?
Well, that's what I told you. At one doe, I shot over at doe's back at 10 yards 3 times
yeah,
in a row. And
yeah.
I'm like, what the world?
And then I just decided, you know what? I'm selling the Matthews. I sold it to a lady, I think in Idaho, somewhere way out west.
Yeah.
And I said, if I'm going to do this, I got to go jump in with both feet. And I really thought there'd be a little bit of apprehension after I sold it, but
No.
I have never looked back.
Now you're a bear man, right?
Yeah, I got 2 or 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah, I jumped in with bears originally. Now I'm trying to, well, I did get another sock trail from Mike at Compton, so I got 2 of those now. And I have to get a Ben Leo at some point, and
Well, you won't be disappointed.
no.
But one of the things one of the bows you never hear much about, which is the bow that I took my first buck with a traditional bow, is actually the Super Grizzly.
Oh yeah.
That I took my first buck with that, and I did. I'll tell you the story about it
Yeah.
sometime. But yeah, you need to look up the Super Grizzly.
Is it the Super Grizzly or the Super Kodiak?
No, I've got a Super Kodiak. I've got a Super Grizzly. I've got the 59. I got the 50th takedown. Uh, do I have any more Grizzly?
Probably.
From the Bear.
Bear bows are great.
Yeah.
They are.
But the Super Grizzly, you need to check that out.
Okay. I'll write that down. Super Grizzly.
Because I hear you on your podcast. You talk a lot because you got that 69 Grizzly.
Yeah. Yeah. And a 68, which is the year I was born.
Me too. What
Yeah.
month? What month was you born?
April
April what?
16.
I was born April 5th.
Okay.
So 68.
Yeah. So I really want to kill a bear or a deer with it at some point. I want to get committed to it. And
Yeah. All you got to do is take it.
yeah,
Keep taking it.
I need to do that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
What
about you,
I've had
Shane?
people ask me, say, well, I want to try to hunt with the traditional gear, but you know, I like my compound. What do I do if I'm setting up a tree with my longbow and I see a deer out there at 35, 40 yards? And I've always said, if all you're worried about is killing a deer, take your rifle.
Yeah.
Well, my brother told me, when we got back into this traditional game, because like I said, we started out as little fellas. That's all we had to shoot. And one of the things we talked about was if you're going to hunt with a traditional bow, you got to be willing to
not get a deer.
Yeah.
You're going to miss. You're going to have to let them go.
Yep.
But my brother, to me, is probably the best woodsman I've ever known.
Nice.
And don't cry.
Well, there's no crying on this podcast.
I'm not crying.
I've always said I was a better shot than a woodsman, but hunting traditional, you can't help but to become a better woodsman.
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
So
you got to get close.
You got it. Well, that's the other thing. The compound world, you start hearing, and I would never do this. You guys probably wouldn't either. Shooting at 80, 100 yards at an animal. I'm like,
take a rifle.
Yeah. I mean, if that thing just does this,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, I can say with that, that first buck I killed with that Super Grizzly, it was I was tunnel vision. I mean, it was tunnel vision. We was in the middle of the rut. He come running up through there, and I come back, hit anchor, and let it fly. And I thought I missed it because behind him was a little ditch, and I saw my arrow bounce and go across that ditch. Well, the deer run off, and I sat there for a second. I was like, well, dang, I missed it, And then just being a deer hunter, for most of our, adult life anyway, I heard a bunch of racket, which what it was is he was crashing. He crashed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is he doing? Is he coming back? So I get down out of my stand. I walk over there to where he was standing. I looked at my arrow and it was just covered in blood. And I was like, I hit him. I was like, oh my God, I hit him. So I walked up and 20 yards, there he was. It was a perfect heart shot. And I went back to where the deer was standing and I looked and I stepped it off. It was 38 yards.
Oh,
And I was like, I didn't believe it. So I had my rangefinder. You can hit me later, but I had a rangefinder with me, and I got back up in my stand. I ranged it at 38 yards, and I couldn't believe it, And I was just like,
yay.
wow. But it was that was my first actual traditional bow kill on a buck.
Yeah, I was at work.
Yeah.
He called me.
Well, I can't hear you. What'd you say? What'd you say? So he was useless.
But I have to say, he shoots a lot.
Yeah.
My brother practices pretty much daily.
Yeah.
He shoots and shoots and shoots. And that's where that muscle memory and all that comes into play, if it works. Me, I shoot 5 yards in the shop just to see if the bow's going to hold together, a couple times a week. I don't never get to practice.
Yeah, I know.
I try to keep my yards at, a lot of people say 20 yards or less. I like 15 or less.
Yeah.
It's better.
I have to say, though, my brother is the luckiest duck on the lake when it comes to hunting. He always puts himself in the right position at the right time. And I'm like, how do you do this?
Yeah. Now, how high up do you guys go? You guys, for your bear hunts, how high up were you guys sitting?
That's probably 10 foot.
Yeah.
That's about because,
I don't get much more than probably 12, 14 foot even whitetail hunting.
Well, I remember
it all goes back to the back cover.
Yeah.
Sun.
Right. I remember setting my sticks as I was climbing up his tree that he shot his bear out of, and looking at where
the marks on
the tree was where he had his set. So I just kind of set mine about that 10-foot mark too.
Yeah. Well,
he uses a saddle. I don't own a saddle. I like the hang on.
Yeah.
I just I said, I like to get comfortable, kick back, cross my legs.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that I found the first tree in Ontario, Canada, that a saddle did not work in.
What? That's crazy.
My very first bait mark that I was sitting in at the top of this jack pine was 7.5 inches across.
Oh man.
So when the wind would blow, it wasn't back and forth, it was round, and Sugar Bear helped me out so much because I borrowed a lock on from a guy, which was a lot better, but it was the same thing. When the wind would blow, I was going around. I was like, man, if a bear comes in, I'm just going to come to full draw and wait. And I'm not a holder. I'm a snap shooter.
Yeah.
And so we ended up taking that down, and we got a little ladder stand and put that up. So that was my best option. Those guys were so great up there.
Yeah. That's what's great about bear camp. Everybody's happy for each other, help each other, whatever. It's just,
man, that was the best
bear
camp I ever been to, man.
I love it.
Sleep in the morning, get up, and it was great.
It feels weird to say it, but now I've got it down pat. I'm a bear hunter.
See? Heck yeah.
Amen, bro.
This is going to happen every year from now on. I'm a bear hunter.
I'm doing the same thing. You guys are a lot like me. I'm a house painter, so I don't mind going on a trip where it's somewhat relaxing. I don't have to get up at 4 a.m. and hike 12 miles up a mountain
I tell my brother that every deer season. I'm like, I don't want to get up in the morning. I'd rather go out at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Sit there the rest of the day. I don't want to get out there and stumble around and trying to find my stand, poke sticks in my eyes, But he's like, oh, I love the morning. I love
the morning hunt.
And I love the morning hunt.
But deer hunting, that's my first love.
Yeah.
I like watching the world wake up.
That
I
is
do
cool.
too, but I got to wake up first.
Now, do you guys hunt private land, public land?
The
Pretty much.
last couple of years, it's pretty much all public for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it. I love reading the lay of the land,
Yeah.
finding sign, reading sign, just trying to put myself where I'm going to get that 12-yard shot.
Yeah.
That's what I really like.
No.
And that's kind of why I went to a saddle because, you know, being a disabled veteran, my knees, what gives me a lot of problems and carrying the stand in. I
Yeah.
mean, it got to the point where, by the time you set your sticks, you get your lock on, you're sweating to death, you get up in the tree, and it's like, okay, deer are moving 80 yards away. And it's like, well, if they want me to shoot them, they better come over here.
Yeah.
I'm not moving. So the saddle has enabled me to be able to move easily. I can wear my saddle in. I'm using a tethered one stick, so everything's super light.
Yeah. Well, XOP tree stands.
Yes.
I got one.
They just came out with 2 or 3 new models. One of them is under 6 pounds.
Is that the 0.5 or something like that?
I think the two
Point
models
five.
I was looking at, one's called the Fly, FLY, and the other one was called the Superfly. And they
Yeah.
were both just under 6 pounds.
That's great.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. I use the one stick, tethered one sticks also, and the Novix Raider hang on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big guy. I play the switch cheeks every hour because my butt goes numb. So I like that swing seat, you call it. But that's part of it. I call it playing checkers or chess, whatever you want to call it, with the deer when you go to public. It's a 2.5-hour drive to our closest public.
Oh.
So I'll drive over there and set up on some sign.
Yeah.
And usually for me, the first night's a visual. I'll see where the deer are traveling.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get lucky, shoot something on the first evening or first morning, second morning. But most of the time, I'm just watching the deer movement. And if I see several deer come through a certain area just out of range, well, when I come down, I bring my stand and sticks with me. The next day I go in, I set up closer.
Yeah.
And it pays off. It works real good for me like that.
See, I'm finally switching from the old screw-in tree steps.
Oh,
wow.
Get you some one stick.
So I got actually Joe Callahan at Compton's. We had talked months before. He had some brand new XOP sticks, the double and the triple, and he sold me 4 of each. And for a really good buy. And so I got those. Now I'm going to order. You guys probably heard Jason Samkoviak, right?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's on YouTube and he reviews everything. He swears by the stand, the XOP Rubicon.
Okay.
So last year he reviewed it, and he takes a whole month every fall to hunt somewhere in the Midwest. He hunts for like 30 days. Like he's a madman, like sunrise to sunset almost every day. So XOP just came out with these new models, if you will.
Yeah.
So he just did a YouTube video just the other day. I turned it on and he says, "Hey, I got a new XOP stand." So I'm like, "Ooh, I gotta see which one he got." He bought another Rubicon. That's how much he loves that stand. He said, "I sat in it for like 28 straight days." And he said, for me, it's just, so I'm going to order 1 or 2 of those before bear camp. Cause I got some old hang-ons, but I hate to say it, but when they get older, I don't know. I just start not trusting them and it's not worth it to me. If every 10 years you got to buy a couple stands, it's worth it,
Yeah. I've still got one of the original Lone Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
That's got the aluminum grid for the seat and a little pad about that thin.
Yeah.
But I love that stand.
Yeah.
I love it. It's the only thing I don't like about it is that seat. like I said, I'm a big guy. I have to sit down. I broke my thigh bone when I was 12 on a dirt bike,
Ooh,
and I can't stand all day.
yeah,
My my leg just gets to hurt, and then I have to sit down. And
yeah,
a lot of times I'll shoot sitting down when the deers take you off guard or whatever.
yeah, right.
But that's why I like that Nova Trader. I call it trampoline material.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's a sling seat, and I
Yeah.
really like that.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Rubicon has that
Okay.
same seat, and Jason swears that it's the most comfortable stand he's ever hung on, probably similar to the Novex, and
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
yeah.
Because I would like to go a little lighter. Like I said, the 4-1 sticks I carry, they're a pound.
Yeah,
They don't weigh nothing.
yeah,
All the weight I'm carrying right now is stand.
yeah.
But when you're driving 2.5 hours to hunt public, you sit all day.
Right. Oh,
You
yeah.
got to be comfortable.
Yeah, that's key to be comfortable, and I'd rather spend a little extra money, get a lighter stand, and let's
Yes.
face it,
Now, have you tried the saddle, Mark?
I have not.
Well, like I said, I like a good lock on, and it's weird, for me switching because I've been using a saddle now for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because with a lock on, your back's against the tree,
Yeah,
and with the saddle, you're facing the tree.
yeah,
That's why I haven't tried the saddle yet. I
Yeah.
can't imagine sitting there all day with staring with my face in a tree.
Well,
That just kills me. I can't do it.
you're not that close. But what I find is if you're not careful, you'll find yourself swinging.
Oh, yeah,
You're swinging back and forth. It's really not uncomfortable. I can sit 5, 6, 7, 8 hours in that thing.
wow.
But
Tree diapers.
yeah.
That's what they call them.
Well, he's never tried one. I can't
Oh,
get him to try one. But I don't do the knee pads because I don't like knee pads. Anything strapped around behind my legs
Yeah, yeah,
restrict blood flow.
yeah,
So I use like the thermo seat that you set on your tree stand, a deer pad, and
right.
I'll strap it around the tree. That way you can swing down and just sit and put your knees against the stand.
Just more
Or
stuff to
against the
carry.
tree.
Pull with in the dark.
It ain't no more trouble in that lock on.
I like my lock on.
I can tell you this. You just huddle.
Right.
There were times where we would be, at a public hunting place, and we would pass somebody walking on the road. And I was a lock on guy, and we would look at this guy and we'd say, oh, he's a saddle hunter.
Nah.
Did they? But I had to give it a try because it was like, man, my knees are killing me, to walk in and out. And the first thing I want to do is get it off my back, So catching on tree limbs and all that stuff.
Well, imagine getting one of these new XOPs if it's just under 6 pounds. I mean,
right.
I'm for whatever works. And to me it's a tool.
Yeah.
So, whatever can get me there and be comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you guys, we are setting a new world record here at the Stickbow Country.
No, we ain't.
We're knocking on the 2-hour bell here.
Oh, no.
Well, another 10 minutes, but this has been a top 5 for sure. And
Man, we ain't even gotten to the real stories.
I know. Well, we're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah.
We'll do it again. We'll do it. Are you guys going to ETAR?
No.
I am not.
Okay. Well,
I have to stay home for a while. I got to start building bows.
yeah, it's true. No, we'll do it. We'll just do it again. We'll have you guys come on and let's see, what is it? July 3, maybe a couple months or something, or deer season or something. We'll get on.
You need to come down and hunt with us.
Oh, that would be
Come on.
That would be so much fun, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't that far away, seeing that you live in Illinois.
No, I'm in Indiana.
No, you're in Illinois.
Yankee.
Hey, let me just tell you guys, you still
We're
lost
just
the
kidding,
war,
Mark.
okay?
We know where you're at. We know how much you like being accused of living in Illinois. Hey, you know Big Jim from Illinois, right?
Oh my goodness. I
Hey,
don't know.
Mark, do you all name your ditches where you live?
Yeah, well, the only ditch I can think of is in town. It's called Hart Ditch.
Driving up to Compton, and we was like, well, that ditch is named this.
Weirdos. They name their ditches. What is that?
So we had to ask Keith Nett from Old Man Stickbow Adventures. He was like, Keith, why do you name your ditches, man?
He said so we know where we're at.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm really disappointed, guy. I gotta wait till next May to share bear camp with you guys, doggone.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. But hey, seriously, before we go, why don't you guys each tell the listeners where they can get a hold of you for your bows and for your leather goods and that. We'll end with that.
Yeah. Shane Evans, Ben Leo Boco. You can find me on Facebook. I've got 2 pages. One of them's Ben Leo Bows. The other one's just Shane Evans. I have a website. It's benleobows.com. My phone number's on all them things. Just call me, shoot me a text, whatever. I'll work with anybody.
Okay.
And thanks for having us on, Mark. I appreciate it, and really enjoyed meeting you at Compton. And
Oh yeah,
I've enjoyed talking with you. It's been a blast.
Yeah. It's good. It's we got many good adventures ahead of us. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
As far as me, Circle E Archery, just put www in front of that. That's my website. I'm on Facebook. As far it's Circle E Archery Jeff Evans. I have an Instagram page as well. All my phone numbers, my phone numbers are listed. So easy to get in touch with.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, hey, and this has been a total blast, and we'll do it again. We got to do it again. We got to talk some hunting stories down in
Yes, sir.
Kentucky, and
you need to come hunt with us, man.
that'd be fun, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Are you guys in? You said Eastern Kentucky?
We're in Central right now.
Okay.
We hunt mostly West Kentucky.
Oh,
So it's probably not that long a drive for you.
no. Because the last time I was in Tennessee, we went to the Bristol Night Race.
Never heard of it.
Okay, well, it's the very northeast tip of Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that's the only time I'd been through Tennessee. But yeah, no, that would be a blast. But hey, guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for
Thank you.
you guys do for the products you sell, and everybody look them up. They're good products, and yeah, we'll do this again and have a good old time. So
Sounds good, Mark. Thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
all right, see you later, guys.
See ya.
All right.
Bye bye.